Grandma's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be making, my main dish will be like a chicken fried pork chop, which you can do a chicken fried chicken in the same batter. You can do chicken fried steak. It's just something that they do a lot in Texas. And I've eaten it a lot in Louisiana, but you can't hardly go to any restaurant that they don't serve one of those. And for the side, I'm going to use the Brussels sprouts, and I cut up some onions. I'm going to go ahead and get this put in the oven so it can be cooking while the rest of my stuff is, by my pork chops is getting done. I put, this is butter. And if I have olive oil, a lot of times I put olive oil mixed with butter on it. Okay, this is a stick of butter, a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of garlic powder, probably about a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to use my hands, but they're clean. Mix that all up together. And I have some potatoes already boiling over there that's going to be for my mashed potatoes. I don't ever cook chicken fried anything without mashed potatoes, so I can put my gravy on top of it. I'm particularly going to show y'all how I make my homemade gravy, which is basically a white gravy, cream gravy. And I'm going to cover it with some foil, so in the beginning it's just going to kind of steam, and then I'm going to take the foil off and let it brown up a little bit, and then I'm going to sprinkle it with mozzarella cheese. You can put Parmesan cheese on it if you want. I got my oven heated at 400. Okay, I pre-seasoned my pork chops. And I left them, I pre-seasoned them with Tony's Sesame. Now, you can use salt, pepper, garlic. You know, you don't have to use the Tony's, but I like Tony's Sesame, so I use it. And you're going to leave the seasoning on it probably for about 3 or 4 hours so to get a good marinade in the meat before you cook it. Put it here. I got some boudin right here, but try not to pay attention to that. And I've got eggs, 5 eggs, and this is chicken yard eggs. We get our eggs from chickens outside, and I scrambled up about 5 of them. Now you're gonna put your pork chop in the egg batter. Make sure the flour is well in there. I'm not going to even put it in until I get 3 or 4 ready. Okay, this is my potatoes, which I'm boiling for mashed potatoes, and it's got to get the fork tender, and it isn't ready yet. Okay, I want to show y'all a little thing that I try to do with my pork chops before I put them in there. You could cut them before you put your stuff in. Just make a little cut in it, and it'll keep it from bubbling up, and it'll cook flat. And you always try to test it out. I got about a half a pan of grease, come up about, not half, it's about half of an inch to 3/4 of an inch. No, maybe an inch of grease in here. And it's good and hot. Okay. And you can let it fry without messing with it, because you don't want to get it to where if you mess with it, the batter is gonna come off of it. So you're gonna let it fry real good on one side. The pork chops are kind of thin, and they're just assorted in sizes. I get the cheapest pork chops I can find. and they're just as good as the center cut. Okay, my potatoes are pork tender, so what I do, I just put them in a colander or strainer, and I'm gonna put them back in the pot. Put it back in the pot, a stick of butter. I use Kerrygold, love it, love it. And what I'm gonna do, until I can get around to it, I'm gonna put the lid back on there, and I'm gonna take care of these pork chops. Okay, I let them cook for about 8 to 10 minutes, and see how golden brown. You don't want to mess with it until it gets brown like that, or you're gonna lose your crust. Go for another 8 minutes, 8-9 minutes. You know, you'll be able to pretty well tell. And like I say, the pork chops are thin. Okay, I'm going to bring the pot up here, and since my butter is melted a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and mash them. I like to fix all my sides ahead of time, so when the pork chops get ready, everything's ready. Okay, I'm going to put a heavy cream in it. See? Members Mark, it can be any heavy cream, but Members Mark from Sam's is really cheap. I'm going to put probably, I have 3 large potatoes in here. I put probably about a quarter of a cup, maybe half a cup of heavy cream. And then you just smash it. And you put it in the back with the cover on it. You'll be ready to go with everything. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take this batch out. Golden brown on both sides. Put it on a wire rack so it'll stay crispy. All right. Okay, basically this is what I'm going to teach y'all how I make my cream gravy. Everybody has their own way of doing it, but this is how I do mine. I've got to wait till this grease cools down, and so that I can fool with it and I don't burn myself. And then after it cools down a bit, I'm going to come back and I'm going to show y'all how I'm going to take the grease off and leave all the goodies at the bottom. And then I'm going to thicken it up, make a roux at the bottom with this flour here. But I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I removed some of the grease. I put it in this other little black iron pot here. And you see on the bottom here what you got? You almost have a roux made for you. But this is because I made so many pork chops in here. Yours might not look quite like this, but it doesn't matter what it looks like. You save all the drippings that are on the bottom, and you take the flour that you used for the pork chops, and you're going to have to determine kind of yourself, because I'm going by what I made there, and I know y'all not going to make that many pork chops. I cook for an army every time I cook. But that'll be gone by tomorrow. And I put that much in there so it would take up the grease that I have left in the bottom of my pan. Okay, you're going to want to cook your flour down a bit before you put any of the liquids in it. And this is a Texas cream style gravy. that you can put on chicken fried steak, chicken fried pork chops, chicken fried chicken. You can put it on any of them. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pour. Like I say, I gotta guesstimate because this is different from what y'all's is gonna be, and you're gonna have to do the same. So you might want to do little at a time. You go ahead. I'm gonna put in probably about 1.5 cups of water first. I turn my fire off while I'm doing this because it gets thick so fast. You don't want it to lump, so you want to stir it and get it good and creamy before you turn your fire on again. Okay, I put the water in, then I'm gonna put the heavy cream in. And I'm gonna put probably about 2 cups of heavy cream. And now you're gonna get that stirred together, and let me get a whisk right here. And you see it's really thick even though I put all that liquid in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this all incorporated first, get it smooth, and then you're gonna thin it out as much as you want. Put a little water, put a little cream, till you get it as thick as you want it. And I'm gonna leave it about this thickness here, which is about like that. See? Maybe a little bit thicker than that once it gets all incorporated. Alright. This is caramelized pretty good. Put it in the top. Now, you get you either Parmesan cheese. If I'd had Parmesan cheese, I'd have used that. But I didn't, so I'm using the mozzarella, Clover Valley. Get this from Dollar General store. I get a lot of my things from Dollar General store. They have good buys there. Okay, you just sprinkle it all over. Just let it melt because it's cooked. Put a little salt to taste. Then you put some black pepper in it. Okay, I'm transferring it to another bowl for serving. Take it out of this hot pan. Okay. Now, we'll serve ourselves. Potatoes, and you can put it on top of your pork chop. Put as much as you want. Come over here and get you some Brussels sprouts. There you go. Delicious meal. Get a fork. Okay. I like to eat. I don't eat one thing at a time. I like to put my meat and my potatoes together and take a bite. Delicious. Brussels sprouts, onions. That's some good eating. And it's pretty simple to do. So I'm going to say goodbye once again from Meemaw's Kitchen to your kitchen. I guess I'll see y'all in another week or so.